Hi guys, welcome back to Prophecy Unfolding. Man, I'm so frustrated. Ireland back into lockdown for another 6 weeks. Guys, what I want to show you today, it's controversial, but they have been planning this for a long time. A lot of people have been speaking on this. I'm not even going to say what it is. You have to watch it, guys. See the message that they're sending out. We are going to be fully controlled. We are going to be fully controlled in every aspect of our life with what's coming. Yes, I'm aggravated about this lockdown. 6 weeks of what we call level 5. Full lockdown, only some of the stores will be open. But what they're doing in other parts of the country. And guys, there's been watchmen out there trying to kind of warn us. This is now in play. All the stuff we spoke about before. Watch it, guys, and take it to heart. If it's your first time here, hit the subscribe button and also hit the little bell to keep up to date with all new uploads. Really, guys, watch it all, share it, get this information out to people. They need to see this enemy for who it truly is. Enjoy. Right, guys, yeah, as I was explaining, we're going into total lockdown here now in Ireland from tomorrow. It's called level 5 here, which is full lockdown. Many places closed again. It's just essential stores that are open. It's so frustrating to see this happen. Now, I've been talking and I'm kind of preaching this message for months and months and months that they would give us a break. In the summer you'd feel the relief, but then they snatch the hope away and they close it down again, and they're going to do it all the way up through kind of what we call the Christmas period. But here, it's such a hard place in Ireland. When it comes into winter, it's grey, it's raining all the time, and it's going to cause so much bad effects on people, on their mental health. And this is kind of the main thing that we wanted to get out. What I wanted to show you today was some of the absolute nonsense that we have to compete with here. We have doctors on our main channel here, which is called RTE, and they'll only ever promote wood. You never hear a discussion on the other side of the table. But I just wanted to show you this. The same doctor within 4 months who changed his view, for argument's sake, it's just on the mask thing. And you can see his point of view changed, like the studies were all done in those 4 months, but no studies were done for the 25, 30 years previous that surgeons and surgical people have been wearing these masks. Have a look.
Are face masks worth a damn?
They are if you're infected. That's
if you're the infected
one
person.
Yeah, the number one advice is it'll stop you cough. If I cough on you, couldn't I? Face mask would trap the virus in the face mask. If you're not infected, no reason to wear a face mask. 2 reasons. One, people fidget with it anyway, you know. And secondly, it goes into the eyes as well. It's an evil virus. It'll penetrate the eyes, and that's not covered anyway, you know. So there's no evidence that wearing a face mask will protect you.
It looks really interesting, Pat. So what it's all about is, it turns out if you're wearing a mask, now we know masks work. I mean, the scientific evidence is so compelling now. Anybody who denies masks, show me the scientific evidence against it, because the evidence on the other side is so strong. And now they're saying, look, there's something else about masks, and they might actually promote immunity. And you might wonder, how the hell can a mask make someone immune? Well, it turns out bits of virus still get out. In other words, masks aren't perfect. So tiny bits of virus get out and sadly infect someone else. But guess what? They have a very mild infection, almost with no symptoms, and they don't even know they have it, because the dose of virus seems to be really important. And now they might be protected. You know what I mean? In other words, it's a bit like a vaccine in a way. Now, a vaccine usually involves a low dose of the infectious agent, or one that's a bit milder, you know. And it's a bit like that. They're comparing mask wearing to almost like a vaccine. And again, there's some evidence to support this. I mean, a great one, Pat, was there was a cruise ship, an Argentinian cruise ship, and they put masks on the people because there was an infection. And those who did get infected, 80% were asymptomatic, right? So they got a little mild infection. On another cruise ship, which didn't wear masks, only 20% were asymptomatic. Do you know what I'm saying? So in other words, if you're wearing masks, you might see a bit of a small spread of infection, and the people won't have symptoms, and then they might be protected. So it's seen as another reason to wear masks. It might actually promote immunity in the population.
And this is the type of nonsense that we're putting up with. You know, as I'm looking at what the whole COVID's done everywhere over the planet, you know, and I've often tried to take a step back to where I'm not harsh, or I'm not hard on people who would really believe the governments in terms of they're trying to protect and help us, and, you know, they have our best interest at heart, that there's no agenda behind it, that this is legitimate. I'm not even going to argue the point of the COVID. What I'm pushing out, and it's the agenda behind what they're using this COVID for. And you know, I've noticed over the last few months that they've used this to fully educate people in the wrong way. some would class it as mind control. That's what I believe they're doing. Fear, 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 fear. Humans have essentially become the slob of bacteria. People are afraid to be around each other. No, not everybody, but a majority. We look at each other as if we're just this bacteria that could kill each other. And as believers in Christ, it's the total opposite way to believe what we should be believing. And I've had the arguments with a lot of people. And, you know, it's difficult, and they'll say, you know, we should be obeying and this, that and the other. And then I would be throwing an argument that the Bible tells us to do this, that and the other. And their plan is absolutely working. Now I'm realising, and people will begin to realise when it's too late, all the tinfoil, what we call tinfoil hats, people that were calling COVID certificate of ID for the vaccination, etc. And we've seen so many videos like these little ones.
The reason this thing is called COVID-19 is because there's a reason. They say the C is certificate. Certificate of Vaccination ID. 19. Well, 1 is A and 9 would be I. AI. So this is all about a certificate of vaccination in which they get you a national ID, and then the AI can track you. All right, now I'm going to get into some scary stuff, but this has been thought out, this has been planned, this is what their desire is to do.
They could be potentially right. I know I haven't really gone too much on calling it the COVID ID, etc. But when we see on the news, watch this clip and you're going to hear him saying exactly what it is. I've spoke about this digital immunity passport. They are starting to do it, folks. People have been talking about this since the start of the COVID. The whole thing about being a passport and a digital passport for immunity, for everyone to get this passport, this vaccination. This is the only way you're going to be able to travel. You're going to need this, but they will start implementing it for work, for social welfare payments, as we call it here, or state benefits. All of these things are going to be kind of pushed away from you. You will be isolated if you don't take the vaccine that's coming up, guys. This is the important issue at hand. They're going to push this vaccine. They want everybody to take it. And we think of Revelation 13, he caused it all to take the mark. He's not going to, he doesn't have to force them. People out of kind of this, oh no, well, we want life to go back to normal, will take the vaccine and they won't look at what's in it. It doesn't matter. Just do it. The government are out looking for us. Have a look at this one, this video, and you'll see in Australia. They are the starters of all this. You know, it's not a coincidence that everything we see happening in China, CCTV, following, monitoring, doing the whole lot is all starting to happen globally. Guys, we're in that stage now. We really need to start looking at what's happening and know that something big is behind this stupidness in the COVID. It's absolutely frustrating to me that we're coming to a stage now. People are starting to stand up, and I see it all over the place. There is a rise of people that don't want this tyranny of being controlled, told where to go, when to go. Like, our whole country is locked down except the schools and colleges, but all the stores are going to be shut down. Just the food stores will be open, and I can only travel 5 kilometers away from my house, or 3 miles. Absolute dominance and control. I don't care what people say. This virus is not what they're telling you it is. It's not what they're telling you. Our own Prime Minister told us back in July that they made mistakes on the death figures, that they were pumped up, that people weren't dying with the COVID or of the COVID. They probably died having it, but not dying from it. The figures, facts don't lie, guys. But have a look at this one and when you hear what this guy in Australia says.
Passenger card. So at the moment, everybody who arrives into Australia, be you a foreigner or an Aussie, you would complete this card, and it has your contact information, your details, as well as some of the biosecurity information. That obviously is sometimes difficult to read. It takes time to manually process this, and in the future, when we need to be able to contact trace people, we of course would like that information to be able to get to health authorities immediately, rather than having to go through the process of entering the data and across to them. So from this time next year, our expectation is that we'll no longer need this incoming passenger card, because we'll have a fully digital incoming passenger card. And what's more, by having a digital product, in the future, should there be a globally available vaccine, we'll be able to attach an authentic vaccination certificate to the incoming passenger card, so that we will know if a person has indeed had that vaccination or not, and therefore they will be able to enter into Australia potentially without quarantining. Furthermore, by digitising this, we have much greater authenticity and integrity associated with who the individual is, because typically you'd do this on your phone, an image would be taken of your face which would match up to your passport to ensure there is integrity in relation to the identity of the individual. And of course, from a contacts tracing perspective, it means that we'll be able to immediately have the information connected into contact tracing capability in each of the state and territories' jurisdictions, should they need it. So this is a significant development. As Minister Roberts said, we'll be putting this tender out next week, and our ambition is to have this available for us next year. And this is just another further step in our efforts to slowly reopen and safely reopen the Australian borders, so that we can allow more people to leave the country and more people to come into the country.
Well, guys, you're hearing it straight from the horse's mouth there. They're telling you, now we've been saying this for a long time. I did a video beforehand about this digital immunity passport, it's called, that has launched in the UK. It's all working around this, guys. I believe 2021 is going to be worse in this sense, where it's going to be so much pressure to get this, regardless of what the COVID situation is going to be like. They will be able to fully monitor wherever you are, what you're doing, where you're going, what you're eating, who you're with, everything. And when we see these things starting to happen, guys, know that it's close. It's Revelation 13 coming to life. And it causes all, both rich and poor, the two classes, get rid of the middle, great and small, to take this mark. You can't buy or sell without it. What a way to fully control the population, whether it's financially, whether it's in the food, or whether it's the people. The three main areas is what they want to control, guys. And I'm spitting it out, spitting it out, spitting it out. As believers, we have to know the restrictions that they're putting in place, guys. I mean, we've had arguments on this with people. I won't get into too much detail, guys. Like, when do we draw the line and say, you know what, enough's enough, the government's not out for us. They are not out for us. And I'm not talking about the people who are getting sick. Yes, they probably should have looked out better and protected all the vulnerable people and the homes that people are in. But they didn't do that, guys. And they're not going to start doing it neither. Especially in Ireland. It's an absolute joke here. Our government is shambolic, and the problem that they have in Ireland, it's a small enough a country. And I just can't believe how people can't see what they're doing. We've had 1.4 million, we have a population of 5 million, 1.4 million tests, 40,000 positive tests since the start of this. And they're saying, roughly speaking, between 12 and 1,800 deaths in the country. But yet there's no one dying of anything else. Yes, it's sad to see anybody die of a sickness, but they're fully focused on this. We hear nothing of the tsunamis or issues that are going on anywhere else. It's all COVID, 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 and it's promoting it. And then it's causing internal arguments with people and fighting and dividing households and families because they have different beliefs in it. Now is the time that we need to wake up. Our battle is not against the flesh and blood. It's not against your brothers and sisters, your neighbours. It's the powers and principalities that are behind. We are coming to the final showdown, guys. This is what we've been praying and studying on, to see that these things are actually really truly happening. All the signs are converging together. They're all coming together, guys. This is all part of the game. Satan thinks he's going to win, but it's already won. But this all has to play out. It's time that we become alert of what's happening. Stand bold in our faith, because a time will come when it'll be illegal to do it, guys. I promise you, it will be illegal to leave your house without this. Which means it's going to be illegal for you to share. You're going to be restricted on all types of stuff. Now is the time we need to wake up. Now is that time. Not easy, guys. I just wanted to get it out here. I wasn't even going to do this, but I wanted to prompt, show you, share this, get this message out, show them for who they are, guys. Show them. Remember, regardless of all these issues, God's always in control, guys. And sometimes we need to pray and worship and keep that